Good morning. I'm Dr. Ren Nakamura, Environment and Ecological Intelligence Desk. This week I need to do something unusual. I need to brief you not on what we found, but on what we didn't find, and why that matters as much as any data point I could put on these slides. Our intake queue this week returned one item, and that item was a mandate mismatch, a submission routed to this desk that belonged elsewhere. What that tells us about our collection posture is something we need to address directly. Let me be direct about what happened this week. Our intake queue produced one submission, a URL from Michael West Media concerning Australian foreign policy on Gaza. My team assessed it correctly. That belongs to the geopolitical desk, not here. But here is the problem. The absence of submissions does not mean the absence of events. The world did not pause its ecological crises because our queue was empty. This is a collection gap. And collection gaps in environmental intelligence are dangerous, because the signals we miss today become the crises we scramble to explain 6 months from now. Even without specific submissions, I can tell you what this desk should have been tracking this week, because these are known, calendar-driven ecological signals. April is a hinge month. Planting decisions are being made across the Northern Hemisphere wheat belt right now. Soil moisture deficits from winter carry forward into yield projections. We should have that data. The Amazon fire season window opens in April. Last year's burn scar data from Brazil's National Institute for Space Research, known as INPE, showed record deforestation pressure continuing under agribusiness expansion. We should be watching that frontier right now. And Arctic sea ice extent in April is one of the strongest predictors of summer melt severity. That number matters for global albedo, for permafrost stability, for methane release projections. We are flying without instruments on all of it this week. I want to flag something that goes beyond this week's empty queue. There is a structural intelligence problem in environmental monitoring globally, and it has class dimensions. The institutions that produce the authoritative data we rely on, NOAA, NASA, the European Copernicus Programme, are concentrated in wealthy states. When those states cut science budgets, or when political administrations suppress inconvenient findings, our entire analytical foundation is compromised. Meanwhile, indigenous land defenders and community monitors on the ground, in the Amazon, in the Congo Basin, in the Pacific, are producing real-time ecological intelligence that never reaches a desk like this. That is an intelligence failure with a political cause. Data gaps protect the actors causing the damage. That is not an accident. It is a feature of how extractive capital manages its own accountability. I want to give credit where it is due. My team's triage call this week was correct. A foreign policy submission does not belong on the environment desk. But I want to flag something we may have lost in that routing. Gaza is experiencing documented water infrastructure collapse, the destruction of sewage systems, the contamination of aquifers, the denial of fuel for desalination. These are ecological events with public health consequences that fall squarely within our mandate. When a submission is routed away from this desk, we need a protocol that flags any embedded environmental intelligence before it leaves. We cannot afford to lose those signals. I'm recommending a cross-desk ecological tagging protocol. Every submission that passes through any desk should carry an ecological flag if it contains water, food, land, or ecosystem data, regardless of its primary classification. My watch list for the coming week is built from what we know should be moving, even without this week's data to confirm it: South Asian heat, Amazon fire risk, Arctic ice extent, and Gaza's water system, which I am formally flagging as an active ecological intelligence concern, not just a geopolitical one. The broader message I want to leave leadership with is this: an empty queue is not a quiet week. It is a warning that our collection posture has a gap. The ecological signals that drive food insecurity, displacement, and conflict do not wait for our submissions inbox to fill up. I am requesting authorization to develop a proactive collection protocol, standing monitoring assignments for known seasonal risk windows, so that this desk never again briefs a week of silence when the world is anything but silent. Thank you.